Jackie, for the benefit of people who've never heard of you or
Yeah.
Robert Macfarlane,
There are many people, especially Rob, let's face it.
could you tell me a bit about this exhibition and the message behind it?
The exhibition grew out of a book that Rob and I co-created, and it was a follow-on from The Lost Words, which is a slightly larger format book. The idea was to rewild the child. My kind of belief is that education can happen from the ground up. The reason that much common language of the natural world was falling out of touch is because people lead such more urban lives these days, and it is astonishing how double glazing cuts out the sound of birdsong. So there was a premise that wild language was disappearing from children, and as a result, the language was taken out of the Oxford English Dictionary, junior one.
Wow.
Now, what I was thinking was the reason that children don't know these names is because their parents don't know them, they haven't taught them. And I've met so many grown-ups who've said, oh, I was out for a walk the other day and my daughter said, look at that starling over there, and I'd never seen a starling before. And you're like, well, actually, you probably did see them and you just didn't notice them, which is a different thing.
Educate the children, they can educate their parents.
And what has been a joy to me, both books, both Lost Words and Lost Spells, have been taken up in schools. Children have written their own work inspired by Rob's wonderful words. Children have painted their own pictures inspired by my paintings. And that is just a joy, because it's building a new generation of readers, of artists, of writers, and also of children who know the value of a barn owl. And this is the thing. Bluebell was one of the words that was taken out from the dictionary, and bluebell is in the Lost Words. Now, if a child doesn't learn that name, then they grow up to be a town planner, and they're faced with an area which is a bluebell wood. How are they going to value that above housing? How are they going to see that there is something there? It's not like waste ground that can just be cleared. So for me, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to rewild the child so that they can bring the wild back into their parents' lives.
With the greatest of respect to Robert, listening to you, you could write your own book, and indeed you have.
Yes, I do. I do write. I write many. I mean, the original idea for The Lost Words, I only asked Rob to write a foreword, but he just said he couldn't do it because he's really busy. And then I'm like a sticky burr. I kind of snag on to people.
Tenacious.
And I got into his dreams in a witch-like fashion. And about 3 or 4 weeks later, he wrote and he said, can't get this idea out of my head. And he said, I know that you write and your writing is brilliant. And I just wonder if between us there's something else that we can make. And working with him has been an absolute delight. His facility with language is fantastic. He has taught me so much. He claims I've taught him a lot. One of the things he's taught me, or tried to actually, it's not working well, is to be more polite. So good luck with that, Rob. I'm teaching him to be ruder, and I think I'm being more successful than he is in that.
There's another book in the offing between you two?
There is another book in the offing, and finally we finished it, thank the Lord for that, because it's taken about 6 years, and a lot of life has happened in that 6 years. We started it before the pandemic. It was very difficult to work during that period because I had hoped, it's a book of birds, and I had hoped to go and see every species. But the idea of like traveling across the country during the pandemic, I know you could move for work, but if I was stopped by the police and I said, look, I'm just going to Minsmere to see the harriers, it's my work, bird watching. I didn't think it would go down too well.
You'd probably get locked up.
I did have, there was a lot of really good things that happened, and with this book, with Lost Words, Lost Spells, and the Book of Birds, it's almost like we were in collaboration with the wild. So,
Nice.
you know, when I was painting the foxes, I would see foxes everywhere. The gorse is very close to my heart. I live in Pembrokeshire, and the gorse was flowering. I grew brambles all over my garden and had a wonderful excuse to do that. Curlews would fly over. When I was working on barn owl, the barn owl flew through my garden, and all of those things, you know, it's just beautiful. I'm still waiting for my white-tailed eagle.
It sounds idyllic. Now look, you've described coming to Bath and having this exhibition here at the Victoria Gallery as being a homecoming. What do you mean by that?
Well, I was at college in Caution more than half a lifetime ago. I did my degree in colouring in Caution Court. Loved the peacocks, they were the best. And then I moved to London because I thought you had to go to London because all the publishing houses were there. And I was working with New Statesman, New Internationalist, Radio Times. I did, when they used to have a lot of black and white illustrations, that's what I used to do. But London was so full of so many people and so much noise and all the dreams, and I found it really hard. So my friend Kathy had said, she asked me if I'd come with her to interview people to move into the house that she had rented for £32 a month, I hasten to add, which was Lansdowne Grange Farm on the edge of Bath. And as we were driving towards it, I just said, Kathy, can I come and live with you? So £16 a month, goodness me, and we had the whole farm. Kelston Roundhill was our playground, and that's where I spent some time, 10 years altogether in Bath, and I moved around and I did various jobs, and including working on the cheese counter in the Guildhall. So it's really funny to have gone from being a cheese maiden in the Guildhall market next door to having an exhibition in a glorious, beautiful gallery which has such a reputation. It's just such an honour. It's just amazing.
There's lots here for kids to do, not only with their parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles to appreciate the poetry and the artwork, but it's pretty interactive, isn't it?
It is, yes. I mean, for me, the interaction is looking at the paintings, reading the words. There's many, many other playthings, but one of the things in all the books that I do for children, I try really hard not to do what a lot of children's publishing sometimes does, which is patronise. Children have the most incredible minds. This is what I was saying, because Robert had never written for children before. And when he started, I was a bit like, and I just said to him, you know, you have this beautiful facility for language. Children will step up to it. So don't compromise the way that you're writing, the way that you're speaking. Give them the best that you've got. Don't feed them junk food.
Nice
don't
expression.
feed them junk art.
Yeah.
Don't feed them junk words. And I think it's worked.
And your books are not meant to be read silently?
They're always, I think, there's to be spoken aloud. And we've had such reactions, not just from very young children, but from people who are living with Alzheimer's. The book somehow, especially Lost Words, has a kind of alchemical connection with people who are losing their words at the other end of life.
Sort of trigger mechanism.
Yeah. So one of the stories that I was told, and the lady did say that I could share this, she travelled from Australia to Britain to see her father, who was in his 90s, and he was bedridden, and all the family were sat round, and they brought a copy of Lost Words to show him. And we're astonished that he was turning the pages. And he hadn't spoken for about, 8 months. And he got to the bramble page and he pointed at the blackbird and he said, "That's a blackbird, the harbinger of spring." And it was just astonishing, because then they showed him on the iPad, they showed him pictures of his wife and family, and he knew their names. And somehow something had happened in the turning of the pages that had clicked a synapse and opened it. It's hard to tell that story without crying, because when you work, that's not, you're on your own at home, colouring in, trying to do the best that you can. That is not something that you expect to happen. But wow.
Wow, indeed. Jackie, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I'm sure this is going to be a fantastic exhibition here for the summer. Everybody must come and see it. And you're actually on Saturday going to be doing some painting, I think.
Not this Saturday.
Not this Saturday.
No, not this Saturday, but
I'll check the details.
yeah, it's at the end of the exhibition. So
okay.
instead of having an opening, it's going to be a closing.
Right.
And it's the 4th of October.
Okay, I will check that and make sure the correct information.
And I'll be in the gallery doing my stuff, colouring in, talking to people. I love doing that because so often when people meet artists and writers, they're up on a stage, it's like they're a special person, and they're not. They're just, everybody is, you know, it's great because people can come up to you and talk to you and lean on you while you're painting and, like, you know, kind of lean over your shoulder. And
are you going to take the opportunity of visiting any of your old haunts while you're here?
I've already done that.
Oh, you've done it.
I've just been past the cheese counter. I took a photo, and I went to one of my favourite jobs was washing up in the Circus restaurant, and we had lunch there yesterday. And you know, I'm talking seriously over half a lifetime ago was when I was working there. So I'd be doing my drawings for the Radio Times, and then about 6 o'clock I'd go in, do the washing up, go home. But you know, it's not given as an artist that you're going to earn a living. And I just needed to know that I could pay my rent and buy my food and buy my paint. So I had a part-time job so that I could do that. But when I was 27, I got 2 jobs, which were 2 lots of greetings cards. And it was more money than I'd earned in a year. And I just thought, right, I'm going to quit doing this part-time job. I'm just going to paint. And when the money runs out, I'll go back to a proper job. So I'm still going.
And long may you continue to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much.